Mike here, and we're back with Lapeef Jr. We got the ladies again, and we're looking at we cannot move forward in a relationship if you are not participating in it. That seems kind of surface level, but the ladies have known to they've been known to have high level conversations. So let's see what we're talking about.
Ask those questions. I'm totally willing to take accountability if I've done something wrong to rectify it. But when I get the response of, oh, nothing's wrong, or I'm fine, or I'll figure it, like when you decide to make the decision to cut off communication, my hands are tied. We can't move forward in a relationship if you are not participating in it, right? Or participating in it. And that's problematic. I
What
can
if,
do
oh, sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
I can do everything on my end to try to rectify, to like create a safe space where there's no judgment, your vulnerability is not weaponized, and do all of those things where, like, hey, you can tell me whatever it is that you're feeling, and I'm never going to lash out at you. And I'm not even going to fight you on how you're feeling. But if you're still not willing to communicate and you're just telling me, like, oh, like, I just had a long day, but it's been 3 months of long days, like, there's no reciprocity in building the relationship, right?
And that's
And
a
it,
real.
Okay, you know what? That sounds good, but that's not. That sounds good on paper. That's not reality. I want to see if any of the other women are going to say anything before I say something. Because
Yeah, you need to run. I mean, it just is what
oh
it is.
no, I'm out now, right? Like we're no longer in that space anymore. But
I knew
like
it.
what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
I love that dynamic works for you, Chanel, because you have a partner who's willing to take that space and come back and say, okay, I didn't really like that thing that you said or that thing that you did. But there are a lot of men out there that instead of doing that, just shut down or shut their partner out,
Yeah, it's a
right?
lot of men
And
that shut down.
right.
Is anybody going to ask why that is? That's okay. Maybe somebody will. Let's hope so. Let's hope so.
And so it has to be a two-person participation in a relationship for a relationship to actually have a healthy dynamic. And we can hold ourselves accountable all we want, but if our counterpart is not doing their part, we're really just running around in circles.
What I've noticed is sometimes when it gets to that point, that man has already told you what was wrong and you didn't do
Thank
it,
you.
and he
Thank
feels
you. Yeah.
disrespected and does not want to repeat himself
That exactly. I'm glad I let that play out because again, hearing. Okay, let's let her finish.
again. Also, another scenario could be a lot of men don't actually like talking about their feelings. That's kind of not how they process, from my experience. That's not really how
Yeah.
they process their emotions. They kind of just want to be by themselves and like stew and then renew themselves and then come back to it. Perhaps he'll share with you after, but you kind of have to respect him enough. If he doesn't want to share in that very moment, you kind of have to respect him in that. Another third scenario is he's just not that into you and he's not going to share with you and he's just leading you along to a dead end and he just wants what you're giving him until you figure it out and then you finally leave. So those scenarios I kind of see. Exactly.
Okay. Here's the thing, ladies. I'm gonna give you some game. The three reasons she gave, they're 100% right. The part that she's missing is a lot of times the first and third answers are linked together. He gave you the opportunity to communicate with him. Most cases and most times, what happens is you ladies blew it, and he's not gonna make himself vulnerable again because it backfired on him. So now, yeah, he put you in that placeholder category and didn't tell you. He put you in what I'm effectively calling the sex zone. Sex only, no commitment, or if it is commitment, he's not in it 100%. Because a lot of the time, guys will do this like a lot, and they just won't tell you. And then y'all been together for like 3, 4, and 5 years, and you trying to figure out, well, why hasn't he proposed yet? Yeah, because at some point along the lines, he was thinking about it. You did something that threw him off, that turned him off, and he just said, "Okay, well, screw this. No, I'm not doing it. This is about as good as it's gonna get." Or it made him pull back and say, "I can't trust her." It's not like it's not an infidelity thing. He just can't trust you with his emotional side. So again, he puts the wall up. Nope, everything's fine. Nope, I'm doing great. Nah, and he's not. He's gonna try and work it out himself. Now, the thing you have to be careful with is that a lot of times men will reserve working masculine problems out with other men, because in a lot of times women are not equipped to handle masculine problems. When you're talking about in the confines of a marriage, that's different, because there's a lot more understanding between the two genders that goes along with that, right? But if you guys are not married, yeah, most, because there's a lack of understanding for the male perspective. That's why I say that, that most women are not equipped to handle masculine problems, because you guys don't see things from the male perspective. Again, part of that is our fault, because again, this is why we need more married people putting out content, more husbands putting out content, because then ladies can actually start to get some insight in, number one, what type of men tend to be good husbands. Number two, how can I interact with men on a cerebral level? Because most women miss that. And there's some more reasons, but I don't want to get off track. We'll get to that possibly in another video, hopefully in another video. But let's keep the conversation going here. High level conversations. I'm glad. Yeah, let's go.
So I think those last two scenarios are both situations where if that's not, like, if the second one, like, he just doesn't really want to talk about it, but he likes you still. But if that's not the type of man you want to be with, like, get out. And if this third one, if he's not into you, like, get out, which goes back to, I'm not sacrificing my happiness because you don't want to talk and communicate how I need you to communicate to be with me, so
I think so often we waste our.
What she just said is that if you're not behaving the way I want you to, then I'm just going to leave. You should let them go. You should let them go. Women who act like that, they don't value you, they don't love you, they don't respect you. Let them go. Because again, who leads in a relationship? Well, if the man is supposed to lead, then shouldn't you be conforming to him? Look, I'm not gonna knock her if maybe she doesn't want to lead her. Maybe she wants to lead. If that's you, ladies, I have no qualms with you. But recognize who you are and what type of man you're looking for. There you go.
Our time on these relationships that are just not going to work. We're not having a conversation. We're assuming it goes on for years. And let's just face it, ladies, you're getting older, and men are somebody they don't want older women, Yeah. So it's just
that's why you shouldn't waste time.
I say it all the time. I'm gonna keep saying it. How much time are you willing to waste on a man who's not into the same goals that you are? If marriage is your goal, how much time are you willing to waste on a man who doesn't want to get married? Huh?
And date different suitors.
I thought we learned from this. Let it go.
That's a whole other conversation. I'm with you, girl.
I had to trigger them. I got roasted in the
Did they?
Girl, did you not see all the
B. Taylor said she had a roster though. That sounds kind of.
I think people misunderstood what she said, and I think when women say roster,
no, we didn't.
Men and people automatically think that means you're having sex with.
But she clarified. But the problem was they didn't want to hear anything else she had to say after that.
That's what I'm saying. People.
Doesn't matter if you're having sex with the guys or not. It doesn't. What does perception say? That's a big thing. What type of image are you portraying? If your goal is monogamy, okay, well, the man that you would value, love, value, and respect, how's he gonna view you? You got multiple men around you. Men are territorial. You don't want to step on another man's toes, especially for a woman who could potentially be our wife. Most men would just say, well, nah, she got too much going on. I'm gonna go over here. So you can portray that lifestyle if you want to. It doesn't matter if you're having sex with the guys or not. It just is what it is. I mean,
people get carried away and they take what you say and they twist it and they slam dunk it into something else, and it's like, my nigga, that's not even what I said, and that's definitely not what I meant. Like, listen, you know
But that's because that's what their roster looks like.
Exactly,
It's people that they're sleeping with.
I think because that's something that they would do, you would do the same, and it's like, that's you. That's because you're like that, not me.
It's like men, in one breath, say women need to stop comparing themselves to.
is this what we're doing? This is gonna turn into a male bashing session. And the high level conversation just went right out the window. Hopefully it comes back. Because we're only halfway through this. So, yeah.
Men, because men can do that. So, okay, I'm not moving like a man. So if I have different suitors, I'm not sleeping with any of them. Like, because sex is so easy for a woman. Why would I need to just go out and have sex with everybody, especially if I'm not the one getting the happy ending?
Thank you.
Like, I'm gonna be picky and choosy about who I am intimate with, as in I'm not gonna do it until I'm in a relationship. And you know, if you telling me I'm on a time clock and I got a time to, you know, and I need to, you know,
gotta line them up. Gotta line them up.
Right. And I don't think that they understand that, like, the process is fast. Like, I'm not gonna waste weeks and months of time going out with you, talking to you. We're not sleeping together. If I can have one conversation with somebody and I can know this is not me, this is not what, and you're out the door. So am I a hoe because I talked to two different people? And I think people, you say roster, that can mean 2, 3, 4, you know.
That wasn't what she was talking about, though. I saw that video that she said that in. That's not what she was talking about. She was talking about dating multiple men at one time. That's different than what Curtis for Life is saying. You having phone conversations? I don't have a problem with that. It's when you're using men for their meat, their money, energy, attention, and time. When they investing that into you, you got multiple guys doing that becomes a problem, because it looks like you're using men. And no. One of the guy's biggest fears is that we're pouring resources into you and you're just not that into us. Women have the same fears too. It's amazing how none of them have brought that up. You know, you out here looking for monogamy and the guy has a roster. I mean, if he's trying to get married and he's actively vetting women, that's a little bit different. But the guys they're talking about, number one, most men aren't like that. Most men don't have the value to go and do what they're talking about. So they're literally talking about a small percentage of men, and they're just applying it to the whole gender. Let's keep going. Hopefully soon they'll come back in the line and we can get some more high level conversation, because this is not the, again, when you get on these panels and sometimes the conversation's just not productive. Like, what are we doing here?
You know what I mean? Like, people automatically think exactly 2 is more than 1.
We'll save that subject for a different day.
Right.
Okay, it is Monday and we're gonna wrap it up, but you know this is a solution-based platform, so therefore we're gonna start wrapping it up about what is the solution for a woman who is finding herself pregnant or with children, and she's finding herself to be unhappy with this man, and she feels like she is better off choosing herself and being single. What advice would you give this woman, as if you're talking to her? We'll start with Chanel.
I would say, girl, do not choose yourself, choose your children. Go, as long as he's not beating you up and he's not slanging left, right, and in the center, go to your man, talk it out, try to figure it out, and raise your children.
It's my turn.
I got nothing to say with that. I agree.
I absolutely agree. If he's a good man and you know how he treats you, I would definitely say stick it out.
I'm just waiting for somebody to say, well, no, that's not it. You should, you should just leave. You notice how she prefaced it with a good man? You'd have to be a good man for you to have a child with him, right? I would hope so. I'm noticing that they didn't mention he's your husband. We keep these extreme scenarios. Get the marriage first, and you won't have to worry about that. Have somebody help you vet that man to find out if he's worth marrying. Before you start talking about what scenario should I do? Should I stay because we have a kid together, or I'm pregnant? When are we gonna start having more conversations about the vetting process for finding a husband or a wife? Why is it that we always got these topics to where they start off, well, we already got a kid together, but you're not married? We need more married people content
for the children. But before you even get to that point, first, and don't open your legs to nobody else, no time soon. No more kids until you're married. And if you don't have any kids at home, close your legs. He should not be getting no swing if he ain't married, okay? That's all. That's my message. That's our solution.
The solution is be careful in the beginning. Like she said, the best thing to do is try to prevent things from happening. But if they do happen to happen, you chose that partner, try to work it out. But I still stand on, don't stay in a situation where, and when I say happiness, like this young lady over here said, she was like, happiness is not at the top of the list, but you should have some type of happiness. Just being miserable in a relationship just for kids should never be the case, but definitely try to work it out. If you can work it out, please do it.
I'm going to say, Miss Lady, I need you to go upstairs or in your room, write out a list of things that are important to you and things that you have in your life right now. And the things that are important to you are not here, then you need to go get what's important to you. And if you have them here, stick it out, work it out, and keep it together.
What's more important than raising your kids in a stable environment with 2-parent household? Wow.
I'm going to agree with Shan Monet. We keeping the knees together until we are married. And if somehow we wind up in that situation, choose what's best for your children. Because I think last week we were talking about whether you can be a single mom inside of a relationship. If that's the case, if you are a healthier, happier, more present parent on your own, do what's best for your children. Like truly what is best for your children, the kind of example your children turned out just like you would be happy about it. Like really factor that in and do what's best for your children, because you've already made all of the decisions you can for yourself at that point.
B. Taylor?
Oh, okay. My solution would be to try to make it work. Don't give up so easily on your family. I know it's hard, especially if it's like a financial thing, or you feel like he's not pulling his weight, or you've gotten to the loop or the thief of comparison. The grass may not always be greener. If you guys can get therapy, you can get in therapy first, and then he can join you in sessions, get into a marriage counseling group, relationship counseling. Try to be a better woman and see if it's also you that's playing a part into why you're not being happy in this relationship, because he also may not be happy with you, and you are also playing a part in that, and take accountability in what part you're playing and why this relationship is failing. Because when a relationship is failing, it takes two for it to fail. So that would be one advice is, if it's over something that's petty, if it's over something that's he's not putting his hands on you or dealing with an addiction or anything, make it work, because children thrive better in a 2-parent household. And remind yourself also, when you do stay, don't let it be a toxic environment. Break the generational curse. Stop yelling at your kids. Stop yelling at your husband or your boyfriend, and coming in.
Okay. You know, that was an interesting show, or interesting clip. In summary, that last scenario, you know what I didn't hear? Is there a difference between getting pregnant and having a child? Nobody addressed that. I mean, that's a personal decision that you're gonna have to pull, that you're gonna have to work out, right? But I just find it interesting that nobody addressed that. You know, we could easily say, "Oh yeah, well, you know, I'm pregnant." Okay, but were you guys actively taking steps to avoid that, and it still happened, or was it just, well, you know? See, this is why we're gonna have to address that at some point. The other thing is that, you know, too many times. Well, look, there was a lot to go on here. Conversations were limited because it's like halfway through it, we just had a breakdown, and it just like it just got off topic, and there was nothing going on there that was worth talking about. You know, it kind of. I'm just being honest. My whole thought process just went down the drain at that point, because it really just talked about it. But what it basically boiled down to is a couple women on the panel think that they should be equal to men. They should be able to do what men do, or we should be able to do the same things. That's not what marriage is about. You have your strengths, I have mine. We're supposed to be coming together because and our differences will make us a better union. But if we're out here doing the same things, all we're gonna do is butt heads. You know. But look, guys, yeah, we're gonna move on, and I'm gonna say goes to the next time. Peace. Thanks for making it to the end of this video. But do me another favor, like and subscribe, but also check out these here. Either subscribe or watch videos, one or the other. I don't know which side, but hey, all right.